All right, Robert here. Welcome to another How to Grow Your Business video. Today we're going to be hearing from Mark Cuban. So let's listen to what Mark has to say and then I'll give you my comments on that. Enjoy the video.
All right, Mark Cuban.
I'm going to give you some quick and dirty rules that every entrepreneur needs to be aware of. Number one, sales cures all. There's never been a company in the history of companies that's ever succeeded without sales. Anybody who's ever told you, don't worry about sales, you can grow it and then worry about sales later, they're lying to you. They will fail, you will fail. You have to be able to sell. And do you know who the biggest salesperson in your company has to be? You. And number two, selling is not convincing, selling is helping. A lot of people, particularly if you don't have a sales background or this is your first time into sales, think it's like, oh, I'm selling ice to Eskimos, right? I'm doing something where I have to convince somebody to buy something they otherwise wouldn't buy. Wrong. That has nothing to do with anything. When you're selling, you're helping. The whole concept of being a great salesperson is not about who can talk the fastest, even though I am talking kind of fast. It's not about who can talk the most nonsense. It's about taking the time to understand the needs of the person you're selling to. Because if you can't create a benefit for them, if you can't show them why your product is going to be better for them and their life than the other options out there or what they were doing before, you are not going to have a company. The third message is all entrepreneurs lie to themselves. We all go through the same process. We tell ourselves this is the best. Everybody loves us. Everybody, no one's going to not like my product. Of course, that's not true. What I like to tell people is when you have a company, when you're an entrepreneur, you have to figure out how to kick your own ass before someone else does it for you. You have to look at your own company and be brutally honest with yourself and say, what do we do well? That's great. But also be honest and say, what do we not do well?
All right, interesting. So the first one, Mark Cuban says, sales cures all. I love that, and it's so true. Look, this might not be true in your personal life, but there's no problem that money cannot solve in the business world. Even if it's a culture problem, you could solve that with some time and some money and changing the direction of that company. But more often than not, the problem is much easier than that. And if you just threw money at it, you could solve it by hiring somebody, getting a consultant, making up to a client by doing XYZ. Sales cures all. Getting more money into your business that you can actually use to solve problems you cannot argue with that. The other thing, selling is helping. I think all he's doing here is kind of giving people a bit of a mindset shift because people have a fucked up idea about what selling means, and selling is helping is what Mark is trying to say here, and I can't argue with that. I mean, that makes total sense. He's just telling you that it's about helping people. It's not about like trying to jam products down people's throats or whatever. And if there's no benefit, if you're not helping people with your product or service, then if they're not going to be better off by doing business with you, then why would they? So you're not going to have a business if you do that. And the third one, the last one, is just don't lie to yourself. You have to look at your business brutally, honestly, and what do you do well, but what do you not do well, and fix that. I think if anything, the don't lie to yourself thing is if you are doing that, then all you're kind of doing is, yes, you might be putting yourself on a good feeling emotional streak, and then one day something's going to happen where all that's going to come crumbling down if you haven't addressed things that you absolutely should have addressed if you were a bit more honest with yourself. And I'm guilty of this, and I think, like you said, most people do this. So you should look at your actual cash flow and look if there's a problem there. You should look at what are some things that we are actually doing right now that are going to come bite us in the ass in the future. If there's a recession coming, what are some things that we need to do right now so that that's actually going to be okay and we're gonna survive, things like that. So pretty interesting. Short and sweet. I guess not something we can just take and kind of, you know, again, follow a system and execute on the way that the Tony Robbins video does. But this is interesting. There's some really good lessons here, and I don't have any problems with them whatsoever. Obviously, Mark Cuban knows a thing or two about business, so.
Boom, there you have it. Hope you liked that video. I want to hear your questions and your comments. What did you like, dislike? And also, what do you want to see more from me in the future? Whether you're watching this on YouTube or you're reading a blog post that I've written, tell me, what should I be looking at next? What kind of questions would you like answers to? All right, that's it. Have an awesome day. Talk to you soon.